Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Raj Talks Games, and today we are going to be talking about the games that are coming up this August, which is, as of the time this video releases, might already be August. I'm not quite sure. We're going to see what happens between now and the end of the week with the Nintendo Direct. So, we've got a number of games coming out this month. There's actually about 8 or 9 releases I think we're going to talk about here today. Across all platforms, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch 2, some of these are coming to Xbox and PC also. So let's go ahead and dive right in. On August 8th, we have Mafia: The Old Country coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. So I don't really have a whole lot of experience with the Mafia games. I played a little bit of Mafia 3 when it came out. I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. I do gotta say, however, Mafia: The Old Country does look really good. I like the older style setting of the game. I'll be honest, this is a hot take. Like, I'm not a big Grand Theft Auto guy. I never really have been, truthfully, other than playing around with like 3 and Vice City a little bit when I was in high school. But as far as like Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 are concerned, I just don't have a lot of time on those games. So, to play Mafia, it's kind of, I know it's kind of along the same lines in some ways. But it looks like it probably has a pretty cool story to it. Definitely digging the vibes from the gameplay that I'm seeing and from the trailers so far. And I am definitely looking forward to trying that one out. Next, we have a duo. That's right, 2 releases on August 14th. One of these, in my opinion, is not looking so hot. The other one is a yearly annual game that is coming to the Nintendo Switch is coming to a Nintendo system for the first time in, I would say, 10 years or so. So let's go ahead and start with the smaller release of 8/14, and that game is Drag X Drive. Now, this was revealed back on the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that revealed the system. It definitely heavily utilizes the Joy-Con 2. I don't want to say mouse controls, but it looks like you're going to use them like you would be using the mouse, where you're actually rolling your wheelchair with the Joy-Cons. For those of you who aren't familiar with this game, it's basically, I don't want to call it wheelchair basketball because I feel like that's not necessarily fair to call it that, but basically it looks like Rocket League meets basketball instead of soccer or football for those of you who live over in the European areas, and kind of cross with like a Rocket League, and you're in wheelchairs instead of driving a car. Is it a cool concept? Yeah, I like that we're going to get some representation there for those who are physically disabled. They can kind of sit there and play that and say, oh, hey, that's me. I can do that, kind of. I mean, it's not realistic to do any of that, but you can certainly play basketball in a wheelchair, no problem. To do the Drag X Drive stuff, however, that's a little bit, that's kind of some Happy Gilmore Maxi Golf level stuff there. It's a little impossible looking kind of thing. So that is coming out on the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusively. I believe the price on that is $19.99. There is no physical release for that. And similarly on the for Mafia, that is that will be getting a physical release, I believe, and that is going to be $59.99. And that's really nice to be able to still see those price points even today, because we don't see a lot of $59.99 games anymore. Also launching on August 14th, and you better believe that they're going to be charging the full $69.99 as they do every year, we have Madden NFL 26. So I'm going to be real with you guys. I have played a lot of Madden in my years. I know you guys look at me and say, oh man, nerd! Raj Talks Games is a nerd. He plays RPGs and he collects RPGs and video games, and he did a short opening the WWE 2K26, and talked about the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him. But, guys, I do love me some sports. I'm a big football fan. I love the NFL. Even more so, I love college football. Let's go Mountaineers. And I'm also a massive hockey fan as well. NFL, NHL, that's the way I like to spend my time when I'm not gaming, is watching some footballs, watching some hockeys, and even some college basketball. I'm not really into the NBA as much, more so during the playoffs, but NBA is a discussion for September because NBA 2K26 does not come out this month. However, Madden does. Now, this is the first release of Madden on the Nintendo console since the Wii U, I believe. And I want to say it was Madden 14 that came onto the Wii U. And that's probably the last time we saw it. In fact, we haven't seen many, sports titles as far as like professional sports, aside from NBA, on the system at all throughout the year as far as the Switch is concerned. A few years ago, we started getting the MLB The Show series. And to be fair, we have been getting the NBA 2K series pretty much since the Switch was released. So, good on 2K for doing that. But this is the first time we're getting like an NFL game. So I'm pretty excited for this. I haven't played a Madden game. It's been probably since, I want to say Madden 21 or 22. So it's going to definitely kind of feel fresh to me. I'm looking forward to diving back into playing a football game. I did play some college football 25 last year because, again, my biggest love as far as football is concerned is college football. I'm the type of guy who can sit down on a Saturday and watch, 2 or 3 straight college football games. I don't care who's playing. If it's a good game, it's a good game. And then rest in peace, Pac-12 After Dark. I used to lay down, go to sleep, fall asleep watching Pac-12 After Dark, watching the big matchup there. Of course, Pac-12 is now gone, but we're getting really off topic here. Looking forward to Madden 26 launching on October 14th. So next on our list is August 22nd, and I keep looking down at this list like I'm reading a list, guys. And on August 22nd, we have Dying Light: The Beast coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. I played a little bit of Dying Light 1 and 2. I really do enjoy those 2 games. I didn't make a ton of progress on either, but they're definitely games that I had fun playing around with. I don't really know much about Dying Light: The Beast. I think I may have seen like a reveal trailer for it at some point, but as far as like what's going for the game, like what's different from the previous games, what's going on here, I truthfully don't know. And if I learn to get good before this video comes out, there might be gameplay going on right here. If not, you're seeing me spinning my finger like, I have something wrong with me. But check out Dying Light: The Beast if you're into shooters or if you're into the Dying Light games. That will be available on August 22nd. Up next, we are actually moving to the end of the month before we really get to anything else. And that is August. I keep saying October. August 26th, we are getting Gears of War Reloaded. So it's like a remake of the original Gears of War from the Xbox. This is going to be coming to the Xbox Series, the PlayStation 5, and PC. Now, I just want to say this. If there is a Nintendo Direct this week, there's been a lot of smoke about, Xbox announcing more games for PlayStation and for Nintendo systems. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gears of War Reloaded also releasing on the Switch 2, either day and date or in the near future. One of the games that's actually on my shame list of games that I haven't beat is the original Gears of War. In fact, the only Gears of War game I beat was Gears of War 4, and I think that's when people started kind of not liking the Gears games as much. But in my opinion, these were really fun games. Like, I really enjoyed playing these on the Xbox. I played a lot of the campaign in 1 and 2. I played a lot of the multiplayer. I don't recall having played 3 or 5 or Judgment. There's a lot of Gears of War games, guys. But I'm really looking forward to going back into Gears of War when it releases on the PlayStation 5 later this month, because that's one that I really feel like I've got to get that one off my back. It's kind of like how I didn't beat Halo 3 for years and years and years. Now that I think about it, I still haven't beat Halo 3. I know, Cappy just yelled at me because he was disappointed in the fact that I have not beat Halo 3. Something else I should go back and do at some point eventually. Battling my backlog, I guess. So looking forward to getting back into that. I know Justin and I have already talked. We'll probably hit some co-op on there, do the co-op mode. So yeah, that's August 26th. Releasing on August 27th, we have our final, I guess our next to final, Switch 2 game of the month. And that is Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. This is a remake of one of the Harvest Moon games that was on a previous console that I'm not entirely sure exactly what Harvest Moon that was. Guys, there's so many Harvest Moon games, so many Story of Seasons games. I've heard really good things about this title, and, you know, traditionally, like when I was growing up, I loved Harvest Moon. I played a lot of Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo. Played a decent bit on 64. I think my favorite was Harvest Moon. I think it was Back to Nature on the PlayStation 1. I really poured the hours into. And I have played some of the Story of Seasons game, which those of you who don't know, Story of Seasons is the previous Harvest Moon developers who lost the rights to the Harvest Moon name, but yet they still were able to keep the rights to the games, so they've been remaking the games as Story of Seasons along with making new Story of Seasons games. It's kind of confusing, but these are solid farming sims. Like if you enjoy things like Stardew Valley or other, the older Harvest Moon games, this is something you would probably like. I'm going to hold off on this for a bit. I was going to get it at launch, but I actually just wrapped up the main story of Fantasy Life I the other day, and I really want to get back to Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma and finish that story mode off at the very least before I even think about looking at Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. And not to mention, like, I really want to hit some of the post-game stuff in Fantasy Life. So I'm holding off on that for now. That's going to be a purchase down the road for me. This is a game I can see being maybe half off at Black Friday, even for the Switch 2. And for those of you who are, anti-game keycard, anti-code in the box, this is fully on the cartridge. Marvelous did say they want to put their games on the cart. They did it with Rune Factory, although there was a big download at launch. The game was still fully on the cart. You're going to get the same out of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. So October 28th, we have two releases. One big one, which will be my personal, my game of the month, and we'll talk about that one here in a moment. So first off, for the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusively, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World. This is also completely on the cartridge. So I'm torn on this. This is $80 to freshly go and buy this physical copy, or just if you don't own the Switch version, $80 to go buy this game with the new content. Now, granted, I'm going to compare it to Mario Party. I have not played the new Mario Party update yet, but I've heard that it's not so great. Whereas Star-Crossed Worlds looks like it's more of an expansion off of the main story. And unlike Mario Party Jamboree with the update that it got for the Switch 2, this is actually getting some graphical boosts up to 1440p. So there are more benefits, I guess, to playing this than Nintendo Switch 2 version, as opposed to going back and getting a used copy of, Forgotten Worlds for Switch 1, or Forgotten Land for the Switch 1 for $50 And then, if you were to buy the Switch 1 version, you could pay $20 to get that upgrade in the eShop. But if you're like me, you're a glutton for punishment, and you're collecting all the first-party Switch 2 titles, and you want to make sure you get all of those. So I will inevitably be buying Kirby and the Forgotten Land for Switch 2. Again, this is probably going to be one that I'm going to wait and see if I can get, $10, $20 off of on Black Friday. Just simply because I'm not going to be playing it right away anyways. This is another hot take. Guys, I wasn't the biggest fan of Kirby and the Forgotten Land when it launched. I'm actually not a huge Kirby fan in general, but I'm intrigued about the new content for sure. And I just don't know that I can get behind paying $80 for a Kirby game. Those games are known for being rather short. Although I say that, but one of my biggest complaints about Forgotten Land when I did my playthrough within the few months after it came out was that I felt like it overstayed its welcome, which is not something you usually complain about in shorter games, but that was my biggest takeaway from it. It's this is fun, but I've had enough. And now that I'm 2 years, I believe, out from having beat that game, I'm ready for the Star-Crossed Worlds DLC. But like I said, I'll wait until a little later into the fall, maybe even around Christmas time. Wait to see if we can get a sale on that to pick that up. So that's coming out August 28th. Now, the game that I'm most excited about August, in fact, we talked about it in our last video where we talked about battling my backlog, and this game is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It's the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that's going to be coming out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC on August 28th. So I've only beat the first two Metal Gear Solid games. The first Metal Gear Solid, and mind you, I was late to the party on all of these. The first time I beat the original Metal Gear Solid, I want to say it was like 2009, maybe even 2008. There was like a 3-pack that came out on the PlayStation 2 that had the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games. They're all in PS2 cases, so like I still have my copy of MGS1 that's in like a PlayStation 2 stock case. I'd eventually like to swap that out and get like a full-on Metal Gear Solid for PS1 copy at some point, but you know, that's neither here or there. So I played that game several years after it came out. I dabbled in Metal Gear Solid 2 through the years after that, and then finally, this past spring, I said, you know what, I want to play through Metal Gear Solid 2 and beat it. So I went and played all the way through Metal Gear Solid 2, loved it. The game was fantastic. I tried out 3, and then I thought to myself, you know, this remake's coming out in just a few months, and I know I want to play this. So I'm going to hold off. Instead of playing all the way through 3 now, I'm going to wait until the remake hits, because this thing looks gorgeous. And, you know, Konami's been kind of hitting lately. You know, they did really well with Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster. The Silent Hill 2 remake, you know, I know they got Bloober Team to do that game for them, but it was fantastic. So I'm really thinking, like, this probably is going to hit pretty well. I'm looking forward to really diving into this. This is one of my most anticipated games of the summer, so that's going to be coming out on August 28th. And finally, we have a duo of releases the next day on August 29th. And these are both, one of these that's coming to, we'll start with the smaller of the two. I guess they're both kind of small releases. Let's start with the one that I'm not entirely sure is actually going to come out on August 29th, and that's Lost Soul Aside on the PlayStation 5 and PC. So this is an action RPG that looks cool, but at the same time, like, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of this. I don't know a lot about it. Like, I'm interested, but I'm very cautiously interested. And there's been some chatter over the last couple of weeks that this might actually not hit that date. It's getting down to it where we're getting a little close to that scheduled release date to be announcing a delay, but we've seen it before. Let's not forget a few years ago when Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake was a month out, and we had never seen that game, and next thing we know, they delayed it, and here we are years later, and we've still never seen that game. So it's possible that I really think this could get delayed out of August. We'll see. Like I said, interested, not sold on it by any means. We'll check it out later. What I am sold on, however, is a revival of a classic that I've never played the original games of, and that is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. That's coming to Nintendo Switch 1, PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5. I don't know if there's a PS4 or Xbox One version of this or not. I would imagine with a Switch version existing, there may very well be. Guys, this game looks so cool. Like, we're in this space right now where we've got the Shinobi game coming out, it's on its way, and also we've got 2 new Ninja Gaiden games on their way. One, of course, is a classic side-scrolling, and then, of course, we've got Ninja Gaiden 4 launching this October. And this is getting a lot of comparisons to the new Ninja Gaiden side-scroller, the classic style. Personally, I think I like the looks of Shinobi better. This just looks like a smoother experience. The combat looks fluid, it looks very fun. I'm definitely excited to check that out when it comes out on August 29th. So that's it, guys. Those are the games that are coming out in August. Comment down below, like, what August releases are you looking forward to? Are you going to be picking any of these up, or are there other games that I missed that you want to talk about? We are almost at 100 subscribers. The goal was to reach that goal by the end of July. When I'm recording this right now, it's July 29th. We need 15 subscribers left to hit that goal. Chances are this video is not going to come out until at least the 30th, maybe even the 31st. But if you would, please smash that subscribe button, smash the like. And for those of you who have already been subscribed and been following me on this YouTube journey for the first 2 months that I've been doing it, I very much appreciate you guys. You're getting all the love from me that I can possibly give you. Join our Discord, it's in the link below. And until next time, guys, we'll see ya.